There are many parts that makes a whole computer functions, but it could be confusing which parts are for what. Don't worry, we all have been there, and I'm going to show you what each part does, and how to identify each part next time you see it. The first part is this motherboard. It is considered the heart of the computer. It connects basically all components. It's this board that has a lot of slots to connect to other components. This motherboard is really important because it also determines the compatibility to other components like the CPU, GPU, RAM, and etc. You might also hear people talk about mini ATX, micro ATX, standard ATX, and eATX. They're talking about the size of the motherboard. ITX stands for Information Technology Extended, and ATX stands for Advanced Technology Extended. You don't need to memorize all the names of the motherboard. For now, all you need to know is that ATX is what most PC uses. Mini ITX is for smaller PC that compacts all components into a small case. The next part is the CPU, also known as the Central Processing Unit. This is the part where it takes all the information from other parts through the motherboard. It uses those information to think and process those informations, like mouse and keyboard inputs, and run the codes of the program or games. There are also different numbers of cores, which is like the brains. The more cores you have, the more tasks you can do at the same time. There are also factors like threads and core speed, but that's for another video. The CPU looks like a piece of metal with a bunch of pins on the back, which has different jobs. The CPU also sends out information to other PC parts to tell them to store stuff, do stuff like RGB light, and also to the GPU. The GPU is also known as the graphics card, or graphics processing unit. This brick is mostly a rectangular shape with fans, but sometimes without it. It connects to the motherboard using this thin piece of metal looking thing. The main function of the GPU is to render images and video, such as the screen you're using right now. It can calculate an insane amount of simple calculation really quick to render 3D objects and give you the image of what it's supposed to look like. However, not all computers have GPU, especially laptops. This is why most CPUs have an integrated GPU, which is basically a weaker GPU inside built into a GPU. The CPU and GPU have a small amount of data that it stores to be able to use it quickly, and it is usable by it really fast, but it can only store a little amount of it. This is why the RAM exists, short for Random Access Memory. It can contain much more data than the CPU and GPU, but is slower since it's farther away from them. In gaming, it holds assets like texture so that the CPU can access it quickly, since the CPU cache doesn't have enough space for all of them. The RAM stick looks like a long flat piece, sometimes exposing the actual RAM chips, but sometimes covered with plastic and RGB for aesthetics. However, this doesn't store things permanently. This is where the storage comes in. The storage stores data permanently until you delete them. Storage is good for storing lots of data, but it's slow, so RAM takes data from this, so your CPU can get the data much faster. The two types of storage are hard drive and solid state drive, or HDD and SSD. SSD can separate into SATA or NVMe. NVMe is a newer technology. It's faster, but it's more expensive. Hard drives are slower, but cheaper. NVMe looks like a RAM stick, but the connecting part is on the shorter end. A hard drive looks like a box with a disk in it, and SATA SSD is just a rectangle box that says SSD. All PC components needs electricity to function, except for the case, which is where the power supply unit comes in, or known as the PSU. This box thingy with a bunch of cables takes electricity from your wall and converts AC to DC electricity. Then it splits the power to different components in the computer. The PSU needs to be powerful enough to supply all components. If there isn't enough wattage, your computer may experience issues like random shutdowns. All of these components needs a place to store them. This is where the PC case comes in. The PC case varies in size. You should choose the size that can fit every other PC components you have chosen. There are many types and styles of cases, so choose the one that fits you. Because your PC components uses electricity, it will generate lots and lots of heat. This is where the cooling system comes in. The main cooling system are air cooling and liquid cooling. The main pros and cons is that air cooling is cheaper and liquid cooling is more expensive, but it has better cooling performance. If the cooling system cannot cool the components enough, it could lower the performance or even crash or shut down. There are some other PC parts I haven't covered yet. I've shown just the main components. This is to provide a basic understanding of PC components, not a detailed essay. And there is information that I missed or choose not to talk about. Since this video is for beginners, I do not want to overwhelm with too much minor information that require detailed explanation. There's so much more in the computer building, and it will not fit in one single video. But I am going to make more of these computer building stuff. So if you would like to support me or have more of these videos in the future, consider subscribing. It helps a lot and you can change your mind at any time.